What's going on, YouTube world? And YouTube tribe, the tribal chief, brings you another Smackdown review. This is the go-home show for the Madison Square Garden show, if you will. I guess you could consider Madison Square Garden like a mini pay-per-view. I guess they consider it like a pay-per-view because they had a big announcement for the Madison Square Garden on SmackDown tonight, coming from the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. But they started off with a multi-person promo. And what I mean by multi-person promo, SmackDown has done this before in the past, where they would have multiple people. If they got like big lineup of matches, they would have the people from these big matches do promos backstage real quick before going transitioning into the match. And one of those people, usually the last person, is the match that is the first match of the night, and tonight was no exception. Basically, the big matches tonight was like Sami Zayn versus Ricochet for the Intercontinental Championship, the Usos versus the Viking Raiders for the Tag Team Championship, Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey. I think that was it. I know Roman Reigns did one. Well, not Roman Reigns, but Paul Heyman. He started off this multi-person promo about promoting that the Tribal Chief would grace us, with his presence and all that type of stuff about and have an that said announcement. Like I said, it transitioned to different people. Like I said, Sonya Deville and Ronda Rousey and Sonya Deville was next. Then I think it was the Viking Raiders and the Usos, and then Ricochet and Sami Zayn. And they all cut promo. Basically, their promos was all the same, except for Paul Heyman's. Everybody else promo except for Paul Heyman was pretty much the same about how and why they're gonna win the match and what they're gonna make the other opponent look like when they win the match. And then to Sami, like I said, the last one was Sami Zayn and Ricochet, and this led into the first match of the night, which was Sami Zayn versus Ricochet for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this was a good match to start the show with. It had a little bit of story, but the bigger story here is Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville from Jackass. So it was built around this, but the focus was on the match. And Ricochet had some pretty good offense. He had like at least between 3 and 5 near falls, and they did like a transit. They did like they usually do. It looked like Sami Zayn was going to take over and eventually win the match. But then, right when Sami Zayn was like in the middle of having his upper hand against Ricochet, Johnny Knoxville music would hit. And he would come out basically with this shirt on that said Intercontinental Trump instead of saying champ, with Sami Zayn holding the Intercontinental Championship. It was a nice, cool t-shirt. This distraction would cause Sami Zayn, as he was so focused on Johnny Knoxville at that point, he forgot all about Ricochet. Ricochet would hit like a Hurricane bomb. That's what they even was calling it. That's what it looked like. He did a Hurricane, but it also like he almost did like a power bomb too. And this would get him the 1, 2, 3, make it, which I didn't think they was going to do, because the whole thing was, I thought they was going to have Sami Zayn defend the title at WrestleMania against Johnny Knoxville, but they actually pulled a swerve here. Because at least I said swerve for at least me, because I was under the impression that Sami Zayn was winning the match, but Ricochet won the match and became the new Intercontinental Champion. I thought this was his first championship ever. I forgot that he is a former United States champion. So this was cool to see Ricochet finally get some shine and become a champion after so long not being a champion, basically being a jobber. That was cool. I love the little push they was getting. Now I hope they continue pushing Ricochet. But yeah, Ricochet won the match. He's your new Intercontinental Champion. Afterwards, Sami Zayn was furious. Sami Zayn was furious, basically, and backstage tearing up stuff that he got mad that the cameraman was following him, and he said, he basically yelled at the cameraman for following him, like how Johnny Knoxville be stalking him and following him and stuff. So this led to Sami Zayn challenging Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania to a match. So we still got that match at WrestleMania like we thought we was. It just wasn't going to be for the Intercontinental Championship. And later on in the night, just so I don't forget, because it didn't happen after this, but like I said, later on the night, Johnny Knoxville will have his backstage interview where he basically accepted Sami Zayn's challenge, so it will be official at WrestleMania, Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. So if you've been following WWE, this is the second celebrity match. This is gonna be the second match that has a celebrity in it. The other match is The Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios, or Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. So now we got 2 matches on the card, and it seems like they said we might be getting a third one, but that's just rumor and speculation. So back on track here. The next thing that happened after the Sami Zayn match was an Austin Theory promo. Now, if you hear me say Austin Theory on Smackdown and you've been following WWE, you've been following the rumors, you know that means has something to do with about Pat McAfee and his interview with Vince McMahon, where it was Vince McMahon had on the Pat McAfee show said that he was going to give Pat McAfee a chance to wrestle at WrestleMania. And Pat McAfee accepted. He said he would be honored to wrestle at WrestleMania. So it was just about who his opponent is going to be. But it's been rumored for a long time that it was going to be Austin Theory. You know, especially when they had that whole thing where Austin Theory tried to cover this man to the Pat McAfee show. But it was revealed that Pat McAfee was going to find out tonight who his opponent was going to be. They said Vince McMahon was here. They advertised that he was on the show, but he never showed up. Instead, Austin Theory came out, talked some smack, talked some trash, and then, he directed his attention towards Pat McAfee, while Pat McAfee awkwardly had to play like he don't understand what was going on. And I'll tell you why I say awkwardly. First of all, he was like, why is he talking to me? What's going on? Why is he out here? Like, why would he be talking to you, Pat, and be out here unless he was your... Obviously, okay, it's wrestling. I guess I got to suspend my disbelief here, but it was still awkward and cringe-worthy to see Pat try to pretend like he didn't know why Austin Theory was out here. But Austin Theory cut his promo. He was in the ring talking smack to Pat McAfee, telling him how he got set up, but then he got out of the ring, got in Pat's face, and basically revealed that I am your opponent at WrestleMania, and he smacked Pat McAfee, which had Pat heated. He basically wanted to fight Sami Zayn right then and there, but Michael called to calm him down, tell him, look, you get him in 4. If this is true, you get him in 4 weeks at WrestleMania, and then we would get into the next match, which was Naomi versus Carmella, and during that match, before I get to talk about Naomi and Carmella, during that match, they did confirm, and they, even though we know it was pretty much when he said, I'm your opponent, we know that was confirmed, but they did a storyline confirmation saying that, it will be Pat and Austin Theory at WrestleMania. So the next match will be, and this is just the second match, to believe it or not, so much stuff. If you watch the show, between that beginning promo and this second match, a lot of things happen to make you think like, wow, we got to be at least 3 matches in, but no, we just not getting to the second match, which was Naomi versus Carmella. And this is to build up the little feud that I really don't, like, at this point, this was probably like, it wasn't a bad match, but it's a bad story, because I don't care about, Sasha Banks and Naomi going up against Carmella and Zelina for the Women's Tag Team Championship, but apparently it's going to be defended at WrestleMania. But Naomi would get the win here, and then it was revealed later on in the show that next week it will be Sasha versus Zelina on SmackDown. Then the next match after this would be Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. And this match, This match was just basically like two former Teen stable, 3MB, former 3MB, if you remember that stable, with Drew, Jinder, and I can't remember the guy now, but he always be like, can't remember his name, but he'd be like, I got kids. But you know, we already seen Jinder and Drew going against each other so many times. I didn't care for it then, I didn't care for it tonight. But the bigger story was that they had a little promo with Baron Corbin and Riddick Moss in the back, still making fun of Drew. And then Drew basically, he won this match, and then later on in the night, he would go and stick his knife through that dartboard, scaring them all. We were supposed to get, it looked like it was going to be a tag team match with Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs, but they would get beat up by the Usos, and it was revealed the reason why they got beat up by the Usos was because the next thing that happened wasn't going to be their match, but it was going to be Roman Reigns in his promo. Basically, he do like he always do, start by asking Miami to acknowledge them, and then he went to talk smack about why he's going to win at WrestleMania, and that he revealed in this segment that what we originally thought was going to be just Brock Lesnar defending his title when you see this tonight at Madison Square Garden, is actually going to be both him and Roman defending their titles on the same show. So, and the theory, from what I'm hearing, the rumors that I'm hearing is that Bobby Lashley won't be able to make it tomorrow, so that Brock Lesnar will be defending his title against Damian Priest, and Roman will defend his title against Omos. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing these rumors. I don't know for sure, but that's the rumors about who they defend the titles against tomorrow or tonight at Madison Square Garden. The next match would be the Usos. Roman released, but the Usos would stay in the ring because their match was next against the Viking Raiders for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. And this was a good match. I love their little chemistry they have in there. I wish they would have made the Viking Raiders just look a little bit better in they loss, because you knew they was losing, but they're not going to probably lose those titles until Roman loses his, until everything start falling apart. But otherwise the match was good in itself. I didn't like the fact that they didn't make them look a little bit better. But yeah, the Usos will win the match and retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The next match was supposed to be Biggie versus Sheamus, but that match never got started, as I guess you could say that Biggie won via countout, because the match did start, but Ridge Holland would like hit Kofi in the back with a chair, and then he would like break a piece off the back of the ATV, but then him and Sheamus drove off in the ATV and basically beat it to death with sledgehammers. Basically, the whole match was never took place, but they did announce that next week it was going to be Biggie and Kofi versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus. So then we jump straight to the main event, which is Sonya Deville versus Ronda. Sonya Deville, this match was, the only thing I didn't like about this match that we know that Sonya Deville have a background in MMA, so it's like they could have made her look like she had more of a chance against Ronda. But Ronda's basically supposed to be the female Brock Lesnar, I guess, if you will, where she pretty much could dominate you, people like her, I guess. And Charlotte is supposed to be like somebody who could actually contend with her. But they made Sonya look very weak here, because she rarely could get any offense. She did get in some good offense, thanks to distractions from Charlotte Flair. But Ronda would pick up the pace and get the victory here. And then her and Charlotte would fight afterwards, where she put Charlotte in the ankle lock, making her tap, and to end with Ronda on top of this go home SmackDown. But that's all for this episode of SmackDown. Like I said, only thing I really didn't like on this show, in this 2-hour SmackDown, was I didn't really care for the Carmella in the Drew McIntyre match because it was just stuff that we seen before, or it didn't really have the story behind it. Really wasn't good. I care about him versus Drew McIntyre versus Baron, but him versus to see him in Jinder, I really didn't care because you knew Drew was beating Jinder. So, but yeah, I would give this episode 7 out of 10 big ups because it was an okay show. It wasn't good. It wasn't great. It was just okay, and you know, it's still entertaining. It's still entertaining me for the most part. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode of Friday Night Smackdown. And if you enjoyed this review, then you hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button so you get notified when I drop videos like this. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But I got more Elder Rings and Far Cry 6 videos coming your way. Peace.